Shalom, shalom, and welcome to the Ways of Israel. We are going to continue our series that we've started from some time ago, Faith Strengthened, the work of Itzhak Troki, a Karaite, who basically responds very, very accurately to many of the Jewish missionaries and responds to why we don't happen to believe in Jesus, and many other failed messiahs throughout our history, or you might want to say rather, messiahs that could have been, would have been, should have been. But here we have another point in which he was questioned by Christians how we could expect to be reinstated into our inheritance of our several tribes, seeing that we're totally unaware of which tribe we're descended, and being so completely mixed up which each other as to not have any possessor meaning of our tracing of our pedigree. Obviously, pedigree is important regarding the issues of tribes. To this, Troki replied, the tribes led into captivity by Salmonassar, king of Assyria, were not destroyed, but utterly or was transported from one country to another. And from this point, we understand that Judah, the principal tribe, the Benjamin, remained alone in what was at that time Eretz Israel, and many of the exiles of the 10 tribes who were returned to settled among the tribes of Judah, who continued in the land of the fathers, gave the name of Judah, in Latin, Judeus, hence entailed the name Jew, formerly spelled Jue, to the whole remnant of Israel. So this is how all Israel is called the Jews. So whenever you refer to any one of the tribes, normally they've taken on upon themselves the name Judah. And it's interesting that we find in the book of Esther that Mordecai, being a descendant of Benjamin, was also called, like the other exiles of Persia, Yehudi, Judeans. And here we get this idea that even Benjamin, who being another tribe of Benjamin, was also called a Jew. So normally the aspect of a Jew is because the law was handed over to the tribe of Judah to be able to interpret the law of Moses. And thus even the faith of Moses was now considered to be Judaism. Descendants of priests and Levites have to this day retained the knowledge of their origin, and those who are ignorant of the origin of will in time of our restoration be endowed by the divine aid with necessary knowledge of their descent, for the prophet Elijah will come before the great and awful day, and he will turn the hearts of the children to their fathers. And we know, and we shall now proceed to explain the such biblical passages which are assumed by Christians to bear reference to certain points of their faith. And that we're going to take a look at in our next video when we begin to look at, for example, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, where it begins with in the beginning. And we're going to look at this because Christians love to use this passage in Genesis 1:1 to refer to their Trinity. And other esoteric faith also will look at this as referring to the Sephirot. But we're going to take a look at that from a complete textual reference. And this is why I think it's a good thing to look at the Karaites' point of view of the text itself, of the meaning of the text. And this is why I think it's a good response, even for Christians and others who basically embrace the same notion. So stay tuned in this series of Faith Strengthened. Invite your friends, your Christian friends, your pastors, and so forth, because we're going to go into this a little bit further regarding the passage of Bereshit, where it begins, Bereshit bara Elohim. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And we're going to take a look at that and see, in fact, that it's not correct. We don't find no Trinity here, but that we're going to take a look at in our next video. Shalom, shalom. You have a wonderful week with a lot of blessings. And be part of the Ways of Israel. All you have to do is just connect with us. We have a WhatsApp channel, which you can participate and learn. We have several rabbis on there. If you're a rabbi and would like to also share your teachings with us, we have it's a growing group of people on the English version of Ways of Israel, and Spanish, Los Caminos de Israel. We invite you to be to partake and enjoy. We've got several rabbis, Sephardic rabbis, non-denominational rabbis who are Orthodox. So we have all kinds of rabbis on the Ways of Israel. and all with one purpose, which is to teach you, help you in your way, in your direction, in your journey to Judaism and beyond. Shalom, shalom. All the best to you. Have a wonderful week.